This is BBC One Southwest, now Inside Out, with Gemma Woodman.
Hello and welcome to Inside Out Southwest, stories and investigations from where you live.
Tonight, will a trip to the frozen north make this Cornish fishmonger warm to the EU?
I want to go to Iceland to see how they feel about not being in it, or whether they feel they've missed out.
Iceland, to find out more. Iceland recently decided to scrap its application to join the EU. One of the main reasons was they wanted to keep control of their fishing industry. Angie is keen to find out how that works.
I know how they feel here, our boats here. I want to go to Iceland to see how they feel about not being in it, or whether they feel they've missed out.
Although it looks a world away, Iceland isn't that different to Cornwall. Fishing, tourism and farming are all important. In fact, fishing makes up around 25% of the economy. It's 2 o'clock in Keflavik, a port built around fishing, and after a morning at sea, the boats are on their way back in. Fisheries consultant Jon Christensen is showing Angie around.
So the quality is first class.
Yeah, very good. Look at the size of that.
Lots of cod is being landed. According to the locals, there's plenty more at sea, and they've got it all to themselves.
Yeah, last 2 or 3 years he feels it's a lot more cod than it was before. It's increasing.
This is Cornwall.
So what advice have the skippers got on the EU?
What message would you send to our fishermen about the EU?
Ut. And then final, I mean, other personal
Vision is that they should go out.
Out! I understood the ut.
It's what Angie's expecting to hear, but as Jon takes her around the port, he reveals things aren't quite as they seem. Iceland has quotas of its own, and in some areas the fishing industry is struggling.
What you see is healthy, but if you look at the harbours here, they are mostly empty, because our quota system has resulted in the quotas away from many fishing places.
Jon says the quotas are bought up by the bigger companies.
20 companies, the biggest companies in Iceland, have 50% of the total quotas. The remaining 600 companies, they have the other 50%.
But despite all the problems, he doesn't want Iceland to join the EU.
If we are outside the EU, we are able to change the fishing quota system ourselves. If the politicians will decide to do it and have guts to do it.
A few miles away, fish seller Ragnar Christensen is keen to show off the quality of the local fish.
Very nice. And then you have a whiting.
Yes.
Because we sell a lot of whiting in Cornwall.
Yes.
Look at the size of that pollock.
That's a big pollock. That's the size of a pollock they got in the net today.
In a net?
Yes. We decide in Iceland what we do with our fish. We don't have to share it with no one else.
Our fish in lieu is also good quality, but I'm glad to see that there is really good quality fish here also.
Iceland has trade agreements allowing them to sell most of their fish to the EU without paying tariffs. But some charges remain. Some say a better deal is possible.
We have not full license to go into that big market unless paying tolls and things like that. For my opinion, I thought we should go and discuss it with them and see what come out of it, and then let the people in Iceland decide if we should go in or not.
Salmon.
The fish that doesn't go abroad ends up in places like this. It's a familiar scene for Angie.
Halibut. Salmon. Smoked fish. It's more processed than ours is. Ours goes on the counter whole. I know they're whole haddock, but we have the heads are on, and yeah, it's amazing, the quantity as well.
In the country's capital, Reykjavik, a London, back on the harbour side, another boat filled with fish is coming in. Iceland does have control over its own waters, but it still has issues with quotas, and exporting their products can cost. So after 2 days in the frozen north, is Angie any closer to making her mind up?
What decision will I make? I'll go back and digest it all and talk to our fishermen about the things that I've learned. I came here thinking that they make their own decisions about what they do with quotas, and it's just not as clear-cut as you might think it is.
Angie and the Cornish fishermen have, like everyone else, until the 23rd of June to decide. For now, it's back to sea and the early morning markets.